What a lovely creature, isn't he? A German toy from 35 years ago. Partly plastic, partly metal. And he sits on the string, and he's an artist because he can balance on the wheel. Well, he's got those heavy weights either side of him, which of course gives him stability. But isn't it beautiful the way he goes back and forward? Little booties as well, and his legs are made of string, so they move nicely. Little black boots, which get him down again. Whee! And back again. And you can pose his head to work and to face different directions. This is a 1978 toy, 1978, before I actually went to Nuremberg. I must have got it from a local shop, but I would have seen it at Nuremberg when I went in 1980 for the first time. And it's really German engineering at its simplest and best, of a very enjoyable and simple toy for children to play with. It couldn't be a simpler mechanism, really. It's just that, and then the little boots each side. And these are really heavy balls here which give him complete stability. So that point there is well above the centre of gravity, which lies somewhere here. It's superb. And his head can pose like that. You can pose it like looking sideways if you want. It works so well. Beautiful. So that's the first from the 78 toy. Oh, and this I was using, of course, is one of, it's not a nail. Well, it is a nail, but it's a sigh. Yes, it's a nail file. That's a bit of emery cloth there for doing the nails like that. So they call it a nail file. It's double over. That's nice, isn't it? So here's a couple of other, before I show those, I'll show these because I'm very fond of these. It's the only time I've ever come across anything quite like this. So very, very viscous fluid, basically. So I need to do it as a running thing, where I'll show it now and come back to it in a couple of minutes' time. When you hold it upside down, you get nothing happens for the first few seconds, and then very slowly the top starts moving down. I'll show it sideways because you can probably see the angle of the thing as it moves down. Well, I can see it this side here actually. There's a lump there starting to lift up. The air is starting to try and rise up to the top, and the fluid, which is quite heavy, is starting to come down. And that goes on for about 10-15 minutes, I think it is. Oh, look, the great big blob coming down and an air bubble going up the other way. So part of it has now reached the bottom where it's going to settle and spread, and the top bit is going to come up and eventually make this will be the airspace at the top eventually. So, but that's going to go on for at least 10 minutes, so I shall put it aside. And just, I think that's the most photogenic, but there is another larger one. It's got a bit tatty now, it's hardly to see, but I'll leave this upside down. You can see in its present form, it's got the heavy, very heavy viscous, like treacle, but really thick treacle at the top. Oh look, it's going to come down really quickly. Let's turn it that way. Look at that. The air hole is going up, which is not a hole, it's a great big movement of like a wave almost, and then the wave of the viscous fluid is coming down. And all it says on it is turn and watch. So that's what we're going to do. I'll come back to those. Yes, so two other metal toys I found in this 78 one. One is a very simple one. It's just balls which clack very nicely. If I get my fingers in the right place, there's a spring which is got quite tense actually. And then if I get them just up and down like that, clack, 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 it's a sort of finger fiddle. Clack, clack. It's like clackers, but you can't make it go up over the top and damage your wrist and things. So it's fairly harmless. But I suppose you could wear it around like that as well. It's a nice feel to it. I've never seen it produced since then, so well done them for being original. And the other one is extraordinary because it does, I'll take it to pieces in a minute, but it's a ball bearing, a very heavy ball bearing, goes round and round and round and round and round. So what's keeping it there? Well, the thing I'm holding on my hand consists of two parts. It's got a lid, which is there, and it's got a large ring magnet, which is there. That's a strong magnet. Holds it well. It holds it in that position. But it needs the metal to actually hold it in place to help the magnetic field to concentrate on the ball bearing. And once it's on there, it really rolls very nicely. I can't go too fast, otherwise it'll fly off and make quite a noise because it's a very heavy one. But that's a very, very pleasant thing to fiddle, and that, of course, is a nice thing to feel. Any ball like that, which is heavy and metallic, feels good in the hand. How are these getting on? Yes, they are coming. What's going to happen next is there's a blob at the top here, which is starting to form, and that will form a column, which will come down, forming a single column. And sometimes you get a whole range of columns coming down. This one here is also going to do the same thing. Oh, yes, look, there we are. The column there is starting to... There we go. Look, down it comes. Boomf. There's the first of the columns. Sometimes you get a whole forest of columns forming of the stuff. No idea what it is. It's some sort of silica compound, which is like the stickiest but most clear and transparent of treacle I've ever come across. And it'll make all sorts of waves as it lays itself down. So we'll come back to him again a little bit longer. I've got a couple of very nice coin banks here, which are fun. This one here, they're both, this is wind up, the other one is battery operated. So it's a cash till, and when we put a coin on it, that part there, and gently press it with our finger. Ooh, that was quick. Let's do another one. Let's try 1 penny piece. It's quite hungry for money, isn't it? Just like that, and you push down, and a little hand comes out and grabs it. If I lifted the lid, I could probably get the thing. Yes, there we are. I can show you the actual thing, the hand inside. But it works actually very nicely. It's just a tiny little movement there. All it needs is a little bit of pressure, and it performs. Very nice. The other one is my favourite, though. This is a superb one because it's the old kissing dolls things. It's a boy kissing girl, or what do you think? Now this has got something very clever. There's the coin slot, and this thing moves back and forward like that. When you put the coin on, there's two little metal tabs in there, and it forms a current. It allows the current to flow from one side to the other and turns it on. So drop it down, and then a marvellous grinding sound, as if they're having a really smoochy kiss, with lots and lots of throat sounds. And all this is, of course, is the motor. And it comes to a halt. So then you've got to take the coin out, but it's got stuck in there. Never mind. Now here's some wind-up automatons, which came from the same time. This is a very nice one. He's actually got two different things on his little spinner. So I'm going to show it both sides. You wind it up in a very simple way like this, and then he performs with it. Very sweet, isn't it? He likes me to show the other side, so I'm going to take it off like this. Hang on a sec, keep going, fella, and I'll keep going, and I'm going to put this on the other side if I can get it in. There we are. Oops. Now I'll just give you another wind up. We can perform. If I turn it round, I think I have it. So I'm going to turn it round. I want you to see the spiral. Here we go. There's a spiral this side, but I insist you to see a spiral turning around. If I can get the cord on there. That's right. Right now. That's better. Away you go. Isn't he clever? A bit like a Diablo, I suppose, but a very, very simple one. For the smallest of children could manage that one, I think. And here's a rabbit from a company I came across many times at Nuremberg Toy Fair. It's a German company. And he's been going for 35, 45 years now, so the top of the carrot's been nibbled off by now. There's a little green sprouty bit at the top which you get at carrots, and that's gone, I'm afraid. As you can see, he's quite elderly. He's been there a long, long time, but he's got the lovely gnawing teeth in the front, which is what I like. Very nice. Let's see how these are getting on. Has this one performed its bit yet? Oh yes, look, that one there has got a very thin one going down the middle. But I think you'll find eventually, after about another 20 minutes, there'll be other ones forming as well. There's a whole series of little pieces there which can form little bits. It's something you just keep watching and referring back to every few minutes to see how it's getting on. This one I think is still, oh yes, now there we are, we're getting multiple ones, look at that. There's about 4 columns there all showing, and there's another one coming down there now. There he goes, Whoa, he's about to hit the bottom. So that's another column of liquid. It's like a forest of trees, isn't it? But all moving too, and swaying, swaying like that. Very nice. Now the TOMY company was coming up with some wonderful things in Japan, little pocketeers they call it, or pocket games. And every one of these is a little gem. There were about 20 or 30 originally. I've got about a dozen, I think. But look how clever they are. It's got a race here, it's a racetrack. This thing turns it round. Underneath the wheel, there's magnets which are pulling these round, and somehow they managed to get it randomised. So as it's moving along, the stock cars change places, which is extraordinary. I don't know quite how they do that. Perhaps it does the same movement every time, I can't tell. But there must be 4 little magnets inside there. Oh, that yellow one's gone to the back now. And so on and so on and so on. You can make it go really quite fast if you've got nimble fingers. But that's a very, very nice little toy for kids to play with. When they get modelled up, you just have to shake them around and you'll find they locate themselves on the magnets, and away you go. And also for the same genre, there's this one here, which is just a little racetrack, a little car in a suburb, and you've got these two wheels, one of which makes it go from left to right there, and the other one makes it go up and down. If I can get it to go this way, it'll go down the road to the bottom, and then it's got to turn this way like this. Oops, And we'll take him along to there, and then we'll do a little trek up here and so on. And the kids could go, well, let's go halfway up and go through the middle of it. So for children learning a bit of dexterity with their fingers, this has been a very, very nice little toy for them to play with. And I wish they'd actually reintroduce these, because I think they're a superb bit of toy value by TOMY. And this is a delightful one. It's matching a couple at the church, so the bride and groom. But every time you push the lever here, it randomises it. You've got wheels there, and you've got to push that in, and it then picks out a particular picture for the bride doing something funny, like smiling or crying or something, and something for the groom, but he's turning away or he's disappeared or something. Every time you do it, you get a different combination of the so-called happily married couple, happily or sometimes unhappily married, and it's a lovely little randomiser for love match. There we are. And then we've got this extraordinary, wonderful thing here. This is a really big automaton which requires inside, underneath it's got a place to put 2 D-sized batteries. They're quite rare actually. There's a really large one in there, and the drum skin went years and years ago, so I put a balloon, a large balloon which I've cut open there to form the drum skin, and it's simply got a switch at the back, and it's splendid because it makes a lovely rhythmic sound and something else. So here we go. Isn't that a beauty? So that, since 1978, has delighted a lot of children. They love playing with it, turning it on, turning it off, pattering the table in the same rhythm to get the idea and think that they've got too good at the drums and things. So a very, very nice toy. And that was a superb year for my collection, 1978. Started with a bang. I'd only started the collection really 2 years earlier to case them. They'd put them in suitcases, but this is the the third year of my casing, and it's got some splendid toys in it. Do you like my head?